So this is the start of the devlog series for my One Piece server.
And in case you missed the previous video, I basically laid out the core vision for what I wanted for the server. So basically like a survival multiplayer type of server. And then I also explored some One Piece servers that already existed, and it seems like I want to make my own One Piece server with its own set of rules and its own style. So I do recommend you go check out that video. But if you just want to keep watching this, I'll give you a little breakdown. Okay, so this server is going to be a vanilla Java server running in 1.20.4. So basically you can think about those videos where it's like I simulated One Piece civilization with 100 players, with 300 players. So I wanted to make a server just like that, but it's going to be a permanent server that anyone can join and establish a crew on. Alright, so today's video we're going to be fleshing out more of the vision, and we're going to be attacking the team system
as well as the Haki system.
So diving right into the start of this week, I basically started making my first devlog videos. So I started devlog 0, and I also made the ship development video where I showcased the technology behind the moving ships I'm going to be using in the server. So with the data packs and the command blocks in mind, I started having ideas for what some simple double fruits I can implement. So right off the bat, what comes to mind is like a flame fruit, where you can give the user like fire aspect at all times. Maybe give them double jump that can be applied using plugins. You could also have things where you summon fireballs and you could throw them. And also you could think about the thunder fruit, which you could probably use some teleportation of some sort, and also spawning lightning, which probably isn't too hard. So those are a couple things we could probably start thinking about. It's going to be pretty fun once we start working on the devil fruits. The next idea I wanted to flesh out was the Haki idea.
So Haki was introduced a bit late into the series, but to sum it up, it's basically like Dragon Ball's ki or Naruto's chakra. So the more you have, the more stronger, durable, and capable you are with your powers and using your abilities, and the more you exert yourself, the more you will drain your Haki. So the initial idea for this was to use the XP bar as the Haki indicator, and this is cool for seeing how abilities and damage affect your Haki levels.
And this also means there shall be no XP drops, and I don't want people to do XP farming. We'll see how the enchanting situation is going to work out, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Since I don't want XP farms, I will make it so that you can increase your Haki by killing strong beasts or bosses or pacifistas and players. So after you kill another player, you will earn 50% of the max Haki in XP that they had. Another reason that using XP as Haki was appealing to me was because it has a plateauing effect built into it. So you need more and more XP points to get to subsequently higher and higher levels. So yeah, I'll be basing the Haki strength based on what level you are, not how many XP points you have.
Because of this, if you increase your XP by a small amount at a constant rate, you'll eventually plateau out. So let's say I have 1,000 XP points, which equates to around 8 levels. And then 8 levels, it means I have 8 Haki, as you can see on the right side over here. And now let's say I kill someone that also has the same amount of Haki that I have, which means I kill someone with 100 XP points. That means I gain 50 XP points. And instead of my level going up to 12, it goes up to 10. And the higher and higher you go, let's say I do that again. I kill someone with 8 Haki or 100 XP. I do that again. And I go up by 1. And then I do it again. I go up by 2. Then I go up by 1. 2, 1, 1, 1. And eventually it goes up by less than 1. So there's a plateauing effect here. If you keep killing people that are really weak,
the benefits are going to become less and less each time.
You'll eventually flatten out. So it's much more worth it to go for a bigger fish than kill a bunch of tiny fish over and over again.
So how is Haki going to affect your strength? So I'm going to have a 1-to-1 correlation with the Haki level you have and how strong you are. So basically, if you have double the Haki of someone else, you are twice as strong as them. So for example, if you have 5 Haki, you are fighting someone that has 10 Haki, their attack power is 2 times of what yours is. And if you're curious about how I'm doing this, I am using the Minecraft attribute command to increase the generic attack damage of the player for each given Haki level they have. And not only should increasing Haki increase your attack damage, it should also increase your defense. So I ran into an issue where vanilla Minecraft itself didn't inherently have a defensive attribute I can modify in any way. So I had to use a plugin for this, and I landed on a plugin called AuraSkills.
They basically have like MMO style skills like agility, defense, swordsmanship, stuff like that. But for now, we're going to disable everything but the defense ability. We're going to be using AuraSkills as a way to increase the defense on the player. And this is basically the array of command blocks that I have set up to deal with increasing the defense in line with increasing the Haki. But first and foremost, we got to get some systems up and running. So I'm going to start off with the team system. So the team system pretty much seems like the most foundational system I got to set up. And as of now, I got the join marine system and the join pirate system working. So basically click on a pressure plate and it joins the team. So a couple challenges I'm facing right now is one, how do I get players to create their own crews, and how do I get them to name their own crews, and how can I get players to give themselves nicknames? And the original motivation for the nickname situation is that I wanted it so that every time a player dies, they respawn as a new character, and each new character is basically a brand new person. But I'm having doubts on if we're going to be able to follow through on that idea. So right now I have a list here of like the crucial checklist items for like the MVP, and I'm splitting it up between plugin tasks and data pack tasks because that's just the current workflow I'm doing. I'm going between offline and online. Offline work on the data pack and online to work on the plugins, and that's just what I'm doing right now. So for the team system, I could basically do joining teams with data packs, and for naming crews and naming players, I'm not sure if I could do that with data packs or plugins. The bounty system, I'm using a bounty scoreboard, so just like the vanilla scoreboard feature. Okay, so as you can see, I have the bounties on like a scoreboard here. And I'm also using a max bounty tracker with that same scoreboard feature, just a little bit of extra logic. I also have max bounty on this scoreboard, which records the highest ever bounty you achieved. I could probably do some wanted posters with a plugin. I'm not sure how I would even do that without a plugin. The banking system, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the most simple if I do it with a plugin. So texture pack, I'll just do that myself. And the devil fruits, I can pretty much do everything through the data pack. The only thing from devil fruits that might need plugins could be the double jumps. So I'll see. So after the MVP, we're going to have some other features that we're going to be adding. So the Haki system, of course, the map, we're going to actually have a one-piece map. I'll get into that later. We'll get into banning items. We'll have an anti-cheat and we'll have extra devil fruits. So pretty regularly we'll be updating new devil fruits, and have to figure out the pacifista situation because I have some ideas with that and it's going to be pretty interesting. And we're also going to do some ships, some moving ships. I also have a couple disclaimers for the rest of the devlog series. If you're seeing this, I'm several weeks ahead in development from when the video comes out. So if you're trying to copy the server idea or, you know, make your own version, just know I probably have this server already up. And for those who want like real-time updates with the server, I suggest you go join the Discord in the description. So in that server, we're all gonna go test some features for the server. We're gonna record videos here and there. And speaking of testing features, I'm considering testing out 1.20.5 for the server, but we are currently in 1.20.4. But the cool thing with this update is you can change the scale of entities. With this, we can create like the giants race. If you decide to be a giant, we can figure something out like that. And it could also help with the pacifista situation. Maybe we can find an existing mob and just make it a little bigger and retexture it. But being able to resize entities is an absolute game changer, and some devil fruits are simply not feasible or too much work without it. And this kind of includes the gum gum fruit. So a quick spoiler warning if you have not learned about gear 3 with the gum gum fruit. So doing something like the gear 3 giant punch with having only default scaled entities is going to be insanely tedious and borderline impossible. And 1.20.5 adds a reach attributes, and this can be used for like stuff like the gum gum gatling and the dice fruit and some abilities with various devil fruits. Keeping people playing. So one idea that came to mind was using pirate generations, which they have in the anime. I guess you could say the worst generation. So this means basically not allowing people to respawn and waiting until the next week to respawn, and that would be considered the next generation of pirates. The idea of instant respawns, it was kind of icky for me at first because it could allow for exploits and unintended behavior. However, it's not that bad. If you die, you're going to lose your Haki and your bank balance. If you do die, you could still somehow salvage what you do have, whether it be a base or a stash of wealth somewhere. But I think going forward, I think we're going to just have instant respawns enabled for now.
Okay, so what are we going to do about the actual map we're going to be playing on? As of right now, I have a basic map that's basically one huge island. It's kind of One Piece like, but it's not exactly like One Piece. There exists a full-scale One Piece map of the entire One Piece world, and it's 14,000 by 14,000 blocks. A YouTuber named Lurfing created this map, so I'm considering getting this map for our server. It does cost some money though. I don't currently have the map right now, but I still am going to start developing features. And once the server earns 25 bucks in donations, we will go ahead and upgrade the map and do all the work for that. And it's going to be absolutely insane. So pretty much all the major islands are going to be there. So like Dressrosa, Whole Cake Island, Alabasta, all those islands are going to be on the map, all in their anime accurate locations too. So you may be thinking, how are we going to quote unquote upgrade the map without overwriting or completely resetting the world? And the solution to this is to combine the chunks. And I'm using a tool called MCA Selector. I looked up how to do this, and this is how you do it. And I tried it with some worlds, and I got it to work. So in case you're wondering how we're going to do this operation in which we are upgrading the map, so pretend this is our little island, or it's not little, it's like a 1 to 2,000 blocks wide. But let's say we have this right here, and let's say this is the One Piece map. So what we would do is we're going to choose a location on the map. So say like where we would have the island to be here, have a little river or moat around that island, or we can have here or here, but we would like choose a location. We don't know yet. So what we would do is we would basically select that area, for example. So now we take all that, and these are all the chunks we're pasting now. So if we go here and we paste, everything I just pasted is all the chunks that I'm pasting. And this island is the original world file with all these scoreboards and all the player data. It's on this island world, but pasting all the chunks basically expands the world.
And I've gotten so good with MCA Selector that basically I also started a Fiverr page. So if anybody wants me to combine their Java worlds together, I can go ahead and do that. So that can be useful if you and your friend have your own single player worlds and you want to combine them into one big world to play multiplayer. This is the way to do it.
So I want pirate crews to be able to own land and build bases, but I don't want to have giant obsidian boxes as bases, which is super lame in my opinion, and that's the type of stuff you see in like OP faction servers. So some solutions to mitigate that issue, I would make obsidian hard to get, so that would either be making it expensive in the shop, or you would have to mine for it. I would make TNT expensive, so the need for obsidian is decreased because TNT is a little less prevalent. I will probably also do some monthly rewards based on who has the coolest base, and I could probably give away some in-game money. I could also have some purchasable safe zones in which within the zone, other players can't break any block or loot your chests. After giving it some thought, I realized that it may be worth it to reassess what the minimum viable product looks like for the server. So number one, we are still keeping the team system being fleshed out as a high priority. We are also adding safe zones to this list because I do want players to be able to build without the fear of being griefed. And they could only have their land overtaken if they willingly engage in combat and lose in combat and die in combat. And I think that's like the best system and the most reasonable system I can come up with. After that, I think the next most important thing is going to be the bounty system. Of course, bounties is going to be a huge part of the server and a huge part of people playing on the server, whether that be with prestige or competition. The bounty system is a crucial part of this whole server. And then with the bounty system, we also have to track the all-time bounty tracking. I'm shelving the wanted posters for now. We will eventually get those, but that is not essential for the release of the server. But the all-time bounty tracking is the way we're going to find out who is the king of the pirates. And it's good to have a leaderboard like this to get people motivated and promote competition. And we still need the banking system, the shop system, and like the balance system. Like most servers, you're gonna have /shop, /pay, /bal top, stuff like that. And this is crucial for like integrating custom items into the game, as well as balancing out items and gameplay features by making things more expensive or less expensive.
And I also would like to ban certain items that would be game breaking and ban certain features that would be game breaking. So for right now, I'm not having any XP drops because we're using XP as Haki, and we're also going to be banning the nether and the end dimensions. On top of that, we're not going to have any respawn anchors or respawning with any beds. We're also going to ban chorus fruits and probably ban elytra, but we'll see. Sticky pistons, and slime blocks are all not craftable. You have to buy them because those blocks are used specifically for our ships. The next most important thing would be the anti-cheat. Of course, we don't want people flying when they're not supposed to, have reach advantages and just exploiting, doing dupes and stuff like that. We don't want that to happen. Next up would be the Haki system. So basically adjusting how strong your attack and defense is based on your Haki level, and also adjusting your Haki level based on the Haki of the player which you kill. The whole system is really crucial and going to be really fun. And I put ships on here because it's one of the things that are going to make the server really pop and grab attention, in my opinion. Like doing those cinematic renders with the ship and with people fighting in the sea, like a Sea of Thieves type of style. That's going to be really fun. And after that, I'm going to figure out server monetization, because we need to monetize this server in order to have it sustainable. And after that, I think devil fruits are a pretty important thing to have. We're going to want at least 2 of them, so we can have one devil fruit user fight another. I think that is very crucial as well. So back with the team system, addressing some of the challenges that I had. It seems like I'm going to be using the plugin called BetterTeams for now. So I should be able to have players create their own crews and name their own crews with this plugin. In the whole situation where players can nickname themselves, I'm going to be shelving this idea for now. I probably will not return to it, but you never know. And the team system isn't fully set up yet. There's a couple to-do items that I do need to address. One of them is I need to be able to auto-leave the team upon the player dying. And this extends to the idea, if the crew owner is the one that dies, should we disband the team, or should we pass down the owner to the next viable person? So it turns out BetterTeams does have options and commands for dealing with this, but I'm going to get a little technical here. The problem is you cannot run plugin commands within a data pack. You can only run them within command blocks. And to add fuel to the fire, you can't even use vanilla selectors within command blocks when using plugin commands. So I downloaded a plugin called CommandHook to help fix this issue. And while all the logic is in the data pack, the execution of the command is on a command block in a specific location in the world. So instead of saying if blank execute run blank, it says if blank execute run set block redstone block at a certain command block. So that's how I have to deal with this. Now there's still a couple things I got to think about when it comes to this teams. Should Marines have /team? How am I going to operate the Marine side of everything? Should teams have power like factions? Should teams have team chests like common chests to have access to at all times? Should they have team balance? For the power part, I think it's probably necessary if we're going to have claims, and the idea of overclaiming and claiming certain amount of chunks. Team chests, probably not. And team balance, it's not off the table. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you join the server. So this is what the MOTD looks like. Message of the day. I used motd.gg to make this. And this is what it looks like when you start joining the server. So the resource pack downloads and you spawn right about here. And this is kind of what it looks like. We have some signs here. We have the pirate spawn, pressure plate. We have some signs explaining some rules. The marine section is currently unavailable. We have our little parkour area. When you step on these pressure plates, it adds the tag newbie to you. And then on repeat, it has a corresponding server logic that resets your bounty and resets your advancement, your devil fruit tags, all that stuff. So this is what happens when you, obviously you're not going to be in creative mode, hold on. So this is what happens when you walk into the pirate spawn. So this is what it looks like when you spawn in to the spawn area. This is like the central area we have so far. This is the bounty house, signs with some extra info. Eventually I'll have the spawn spread out just to a random wild area to prevent spawn camping or whatever. But this is what it's like for now. And in tomorrow's video, we're going to be going over the Marines, the Pacifistas, the Devil Fruits, the Devil Fruit powers, the Flame Fruit, and a bunch of other things about the server. Once again, I would like to reiterate that these devlog updates are several weeks and in some cases months behind from what happens in real time. I would recommend to everybody to join the Discord in the description to get real-time updates and participate in any events as they happen.